yeah, the employees did speak up. They noticed the smell, and eventually the person was found.
Oh,
And you're thinking, this is horrible. You feel for the family and the person and everything, and then you start to think about what's the workplace culture.
no joke.
Welcome again to It Doesn't Take a Genius, conversation with introspective perspectives and pithy points of view. Here are your hosts, my friends, Max and Marty.
I think that's Mark and Mike.
Yeah, whatever.
Ramsey.
Hey there, meme lord.
What do you mean by that?
Welcome to our new segment. We love memes. I really love memes. I mean, Mike, my wife's sick of me loving memes. I've loved memes for a very long time. I've loved memes for so long that I once sent a meme to a bunch of people, including her, and I said, honey, you can ask me tonight what a meme is. And 3 days later, when she checked her email, she got this stiff posture. She turned and looked at me like she was really going to regret even saying it out loud. And she said, "What's a meme?"
Yeah, I remember when we all pronounced it Mimi.
So anyway, but we
All right,
want
so
to talk
so
about
let's
memes.
just start off with a meme tip. So
Okay.
here's a not to do. So never go up to somebody and go, "I saw this awesome meme. Take a look," and then have to search for 12 minutes for it. While the other person stands there in meme limbo. Yeah, it makes me crazy. Right. Hey, check out this meme. Oh, wait, hang it. It was here a minute ago. No, maybe it was on this page. Hey,
All right.
yeah.
Mike, I get it. I get it. I will not do that for you. I will not do that to you.
You've never done it. People in my life, oh, they do it regularly. Take a screenshot, have it ready for the viewing when you bring up the meme. Because I'm excited to see the meme. I'm like, a meme, I could learn something. I could be mildly amused.
Well, and there it
Yeah.
is, isn't it? I could be mildly amused and I might learn something. And I think we learn things about the culture. I think that's why we wanted to do this segment, because periodically a meme comes along that's workplace related, and it's telling us something about how people are perceiving work, employee-employer relationships, and things like that. So we have a particularly dank one that we wanted to share with you today. So I do love dank memes.
I don't know what the word dank means.
We'll talk about it off air. So anyway,
all right. So I got it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube.
Well, we've got part of it on screen. I'll put the whole thing on when I go into post production. We'll fix it in post. But yeah, let me for those who are just listening. This is the it's being called the Triangle Factory meme. And there are a lot of examples already. Some go to different places, which is what memes do, right? They become something completely else that if you don't know the shorthand, make no sense, right? You don't understand why these two things, these two images would be put next to each other and make any sense. But it is part of our modern communication system. And so here's the meme. There is an assembly line in a factory. There is a poorly drawn MS Paint character with a hard hat. Triangles, red triangles are coming off this assembly line. And there is a blue circle that has come off the assembly line as well. And he's holding the blue circle and he says, "A circle in the Triangle Factory? How queer. I've never seen such a thing. I must inquire about this further with my supervisor, post haste." So that's panel one. Panel two is a guy just watching it happen. The circle's coming across the assembly line and he says, "I guess we doing circles now." The end. The end. So you could see this a few different ways, couldn't you, Mike? So so I think that let's talk about both ways to look at it. I think one way you could look at this is that we have employees, the top one cares and the bottom one doesn't. I don't care what comes off the line. That's what's coming off the line. Fine. I'm not going to follow up. I'm not going to ask any questions. We're just going to do it this way. It's a measure of a lack of engagement.
Mhm.
That's one way to look at this, is that the guy saying, well, I guess we're just doing circles now, is kind of like the guy that spray paints over a possum. Well, it was there. Yeah, I'm doing road work and it's time to paint the lines. Dead possum's there. We're just going to spray paint right over that bad boy. Keep on moving. That's one way to look at it. You, I think, saw it the other side, did you not?
Yeah, I'm looking at the manager side of things, and how poor a job of communications did I do? I've got the upper panel. I've got this employee. He's like, this is odd, right? I must inquire. So here's somebody who wants to be in the know. He wants
Yep.
to know the why. He wants to know the what. He wants to know the how. This is
Yep.
somebody who wants on it, and management has let him down.
Yep.
You're right. They'll just, they change something and they'll just allow the employees to figure it out somewhere literally down the line.
Yep.
And so it reminds me of like in our dealership world, we'll have, the sales team will have a meeting, right? They'll announce we're gonna send out these flyers, this really cool flyer and this thing, and we're meeting with marketing. We're gonna do 20,000 flyers, and they're gonna be in the mailboxes, and they're and everybody be ready. And then the poor receptionist,
Yep.
they never tell her. So she's sitting there and the phone starts ringing after the postman has made his rounds, and everybody's calling about the specific sale. And she's like, I don't know.
Yep.
And she starts doing like this poor guy here. Are we having a sale? Right. Anybody know? Yeah. She's, completely out of the loop as far as what's next. And that's on management. That's on leadership. You didn't bring everybody who could be affected by the change in on the change. And now people are just left to wonder, did we make a strategic move?
Right.
Is this an error? Yeah. All these things start to go through your head as the team member.
All right. So I agree with you. And I'm going to continue from the other perspective, because here's the thing that I think we see happening so often, and we talk about it with Crucial Conversations. We talk about mastering your story, and we talk about it with Cartman's drama triangle. I think we've talked about that on air. If we haven't, we probably should do an episode. But the idea of, I'm a helpless victim. I am a victim in this, and I simply just don't have any control over how this goes down. And so in this case, I just say, I guess we're making circles now. I'm not going to do anything proactive, own anything, follow up on this. I'm just going to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to return to where you're talking that, managers own the current state. Like it's on you. The culture trickles down from you. You are the one who has a role here in improving the lives of those around you. But I would just like to say to everybody in our audience who is feeling like, man, I'm just not in an engaging environment. I'm just not in a company that's enlightened and progressive. Leadership just doesn't get it. Boy, when I get my chance, when I get when I leave here, et cetera, and they're thinking of a future state. Well, if you're going to be a leader, own the current state, right? The part of the current state that's under your control. So you could, as an employee, say, you know what? I think I need to alert management. I need to educate myself on what's going on here. I need to find out if this is a defect or if this is a new thing. I have a role here in proactively communicating with the people around me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are organizations that make that extremely difficult, right? Because when you do that, when you raise your hand, it gets smacked.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens enough, or if you're ignored enough, you raise your hand and nobody calls on you. If that keeps happening, I get it. You're disengaged. I still might say you have something under your control, which is leave, get out of there, find a place that, isn't,
Mm-hmm.
toxic or life sucking or whatever you want to call it. But let's go back to talking about management, but just for my own peace of mind, I wanted to say that because I think we often find people who, they're like, I buy into all this leadership stuff, but it can't happen here. These people are just, they don't get it. And so I'll just stay here and whine. I mean, to be crass about it, do something. What's under your control to do? So there, I've said my piece. Now we can go back and talk about leadership.
You bring up such a good point. So I always think of right. There's two orientations.
Yeah.
You start a job, there's the official orientation. Here's our vision. Everybody matters. Employee engagement is job one. Everybody has a voice here. We're a team and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, this is great. And then you go out onto the floor and you get the unofficial orientation.
Yep.
And go, all right. I listened to, HR or whoever tell me all this stuff. What's it really like to work here?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. You should stick your head up, man. It's whack-a-mole, right? Yeah. You don't complain. You don't bring up to anything. You never talk to this guy over here, right? He'll just hold a grudge for the rest of his life. And so they get the real orientation. I remember there was a factory, and the company line was every employee on the line is empowered to stop the line if they see something wrong.
So we're talking about the andon cord, right?
Yeah.
Pull the cord.
Yeah, pull the cord.
30 seconds, 60 seconds before the line's going to shut down because you've identified something and you haven't solved the issue to where you pull the cord again and the line just keeps going. Yep. So yeah, this is a big deal. Quality improvement.
Yeah. So and everybody's empowered to stop the line if they see something wrong.
Right.
In some companies it works. In other companies, one guy pulled the line.
Don't you dare pull that line.
Right. They didn't come out and address the defect. They called him the defect and, took him off the line, wrote him up, told him, about the, deadlines, production, how much it cost you every second the line was down, and told him never to do that again. And so the line is still there. It's still part of the orientation, but everybody knows you don't pull the line.
How sad. I've talked about this, I think, before, and I'm going to make it as anonymous as possible, but there's a well-known, well, I think I even said the company, Toyota. Toyota has a really huge factory. I believe the biggest factory in the world down the road from me. It has its own interstate exit. And, there was a period in the, mid 2000s when Toyota had a little bit of a quality issue. It was a big news story for a while, and they fixed it. And I knew somebody who was, just a good old boy from the hills of Kentucky who worked there. And I said, hey, it looks like that problem's been addressed. I think that good old boy, by the way, is listening. And if you are, hi, person who I'm keeping anonymous. But anyway, I said, what's, what happened? How'd you fix it? And he looked me dead in the eye and said, things got worse when the white man took over. And I just processing that, what he's saying is they brought some folks from Detroit who were thinking about, let's cut costs instead of thinking about it the Toyota way, which is let's make sure quality is assured. That'll take care of things at a much bigger level than we are. But I'm confident they went through that same issue. Like we're looking at different things now, and you're bringing quality up. Don't bring quality up. We've got a deadline to hit. We're gonna smack the hand back down until you get back to work. We've got some deadlines to hit. We've got some production quotas to hit. I heard about a factory that had an employee who was an accountant, and he eventually became president of the entire company that ran several factories. And when he came to visit the factory, he knew right where to go. He went to a field behind the factory where he found employees who had been directed to dump loads of scrap. I mean, just so much money just sitting in this field. He knew about it and was finally able to address it. Think how scary that is. He had worked there for so long, but had never, been able to get it addressed. And now he's in a position where he can do it. Well, that's the whole thing we're talking about here. Once you're in a position to address it, please address it. And if you can't address it, please understand, you still have a role to proactively bring it up. Now the manager has a role in hearing and listening and responding to that appropriately.
Mhm.
If you don't, it's the Triangle Factory second panel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess that's what we're doing now. Right. That person has given up.
Yep.
And people do or don't do things for a reason. And so the idea of did you hire them dead or did you kill them after you got them?
Right.
And so yeah, was this person that at some point engaged and they kept bumping into walls and their ideas didn't get a fair hearing and nobody seemed to be listening.
Right.
So at some point, yeah, why would I expend the energy to share if I didn't think anybody cared?
That's exactly right.
And so, yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to stand on the line. I'm going to watch it go by and go, well, I guess that's what we do now.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Because nobody ever tells me anything.
I love that. Yeah, really thinking about the movie Office Space, not any scene in particular, but just the overall flow, like whatever, the stapler guy, he actually doesn't work here, but he's still here. Nobody's really dealt with that, just why, we've let a culture develop around something that we were not willing to address or be proactive about ourselves. And so path of least resistance, I guess we're making circles now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And just so you know that, we keep up on current events, a story that may or may not be somewhat related would be the story coming out of Wells Fargo, where a Wells Fargo employee died in their cubicle and nobody noticed for 4 days.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it's a big building. Their cubicle wasn't on the main route. Yeah, the employees did speak up. They noticed the smell, and eventually the person was found.
oh,
And you're thinking, this is horrible. You feel for the family and the person and everything, and then you start to think about what's the workplace culture?
no joke.
How is it that nobody notices if I'm contributing or not contributing? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so many questions to be answered in there when it comes to workplace engagement and caring. And
What a modern fable. I mean, that is just a picture of a lot of workplaces right now. How sad.
oh yeah, completely
Oh,
amazing. So yeah, it goes back to my theory, right? I have a lot of managers, and they'll proclaim proudly they have an open door policy.
yep.
I have the open door policy. Everybody's ideas are welcome. Just bring me your thoughts and suggestions. And I'm like, that's fantastic. How many people have ever walked through that door with an idea or suggestion? Well, nobody in the last 7 years. But the door's open. I'm thinking about. I had one guy told me, I'm thinking about taking the door off the hinges,
Yeah.
removing the door completely. Like, I don't think the entryway is the problem.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
I that's so funny because I actually had that happen with a client where I wasn't hearing from them. The owner was not there and I was giving updates and I was like, I don't know if this is going well or not. And finally my mentor at the time got it in my head, like, you should probably ask. Oh yeah, I could ask. Now I couldn't ask him in person. So I left him a voicemail that literally said, hey, just so you know, last 3 months, I haven't heard from you. I've been submitting my recap and I'm assuming no news is good news, but please let me know. And the next time I was in the store with him, he was there and he said, he was laughing. He was like, you really thought there was a problem, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I didn't know. Well, again, like whoever notices is the one who needs to speak up, right? And raise their hand and say, I just want to make sure we don't have an issue here. That is my point, is both sides here have a role. Now, if the leadership has decided to stop doing that, after a while, your employees are going to stop doing that, and you shouldn't be surprised. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're no longer getting feedback from the front,
Yeah.
from front lines, whether it's manufacturing or customer service, whatever it might be, right. That is a cultural climate that you have created.
Yeah.
And so the bad news is you built it. The good news is you can rebuild it any way you want.
Right. Right. This is, again, you get to be proactive. You get to own it. So go do that.
Mhm.
Anyway, it was a meme we thought worth tossing around. We'll probably do this again because we do love them. I love memes.
Yeah, I don't know if the episodes will be as good as the name. What do you meme? That is a classic.
I'm glad I came up with that. I will take credit, but my guess is that if we Google that, it's probably been done before by somebody, but we'll still do it as a podcast series. So,
oh yeah, send us your cease and desist letter. I dare you. Come on, bring it on. Yeah,
we need the publicity, please.
Yeah. Our post-production staff is almost as big as our legal team. Yeah.
Exactly right.
The only thing that we have, and we don't pay for it, is an announcer.
There you go.
Yeah, and he's never letting us down. He's always there for us. So take it away, our man, the highly engaged Mr. Wolf.
And that's a wrap. It doesn't take a genius. The blog dedicated to reducing the irreducible. Next time, prime numbers. What makes them so special? Join us then. And thanks for listening.
That's good enough.